Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog, and this is the Ziegler Zone. Oh, today, special guest, special subject with my beautiful, wonderful co host, Miss April Simmons.
Hey, super excited to be here. Looking forward to spending time with some of my favorite people. It is only 7 a.m. where I am. So getting me up this early, it takes special people, and these three are it. So I'm excited to see what we're unpacking this morning.
You're in Phoenix, Arizona. 117 today's your forecast. I saw that. I was thinking, oh my gosh.
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. You stay inside. That's what you do. You stay inside.
Stay inside. Years ago, I was consulting the Buzz Sands group, Sands Automotive, and I saw lotmen standing on the asphalt, and they stood in one place too long, and their tennis shoes melted to the asphalt. It looked like gum when they lifted their feet. It was unbelievable.
It's actually, you can actually see the heat waves this time of year, like between the cars on the lot. You can actually physically see the heat waves between the cars. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Horn Automotive, the do-all, be-all, one of the most intelligent women in the automobile business, brilliant woman. And from Dealer Teamwork, the co-founders, one of my best friends in the world, co-Corvette fanatic, Eric Miltsch.
Good morning, Jim.
Okay, I don't care about you. How's that Corvette?
It's awesome.
Tell me about your car.
It's fast and fun. That's about all you got to say.
Fantastic. And the co-founder of Dealer Teamwork, one of my other best friends in the world, Sean Stapleton. Hey, big guy.
Good morning. Good morning, April. Good morning, Jim, Eric. It's great to be with you. It's always a pleasure, especially when I have some of my favorite people in the world on this early.
Okay, well, I got you on the big screen. Tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Whew, we got a lot. Let's talk about the industry. We're going to talk about some product enhancements. We're going to talk about some things that dealers need to be paying attention to. Look, during COVID, I think a lot of dealers developed some bad habits.
Bad habits? We forgot how to sell cars.
Yeah.
Your people have gotten lax. I mean, a monkey with a note in his mouth could sell cars for 10,000 over sticker 10 months ago.
I think those days are over. So it's, dealers not only need to get back to basics, but their vendors need to support them better. It takes, multiple people to pull this off. It's just everyone focuses on the dealer. It's beyond the dealer. The OEM's got to do their part. The vendors got to do their part. April and her team have got to do their part. And the people that are doing it, they're crushing it. But a lot of people are struggling right now because kind of forgot about what to do.
April, if you had to ask Eric one question, now you are in a dealership. You are our guest co-host today. What would you ask Eric?
From your side of the fence, what is the number one thing you think dealers need to do today that will impact today?
I think that's super simple, in my opinion, April. It comes down to just quality traffic acquisition. But I'll have to add a caveat to that. It's doing it effectively and efficiently as well. And as we started off the call with saying, you've got to get back to the basics, not only in terms of selling, but just in order to sell, you need to get traffic. And I think everybody's just looking in the wrong place, or they're looking in the wrong place, really, in terms of how to do it. They want to take orders, from my perspective. But again, I think it just comes down to one simple thing, just acquiring good quality traffic.
And when you say good quality traffic, I just want to piggyback that question, because something that I've really witnessed over the last year or so is the difference in quality. So, right now a lot of my dealerships are actually seeing less leads, but the closing rate is starting to come back in line with what we, would typically see 2018, 2019 prior to, pandemic and then shortage. We're starting to see a higher closing rate, less leads. Does less leads actually mean less business?
Ooh, good question. Does less leads
No, I don't believe it's
mean more?
I don't believe it has to, Jim. It comes down to that, like you said, the quality over the quantity. And that's the entire concept of the founding concept of our platform, to be able to drive higher quality leads at lower costs consistently over time. Because think of it bigger picture. We're the partner that's working with the dealers together. That has to be able to be there to support their business needs and their business objectives, through these efficient campaigns. And again, it's Sean loves to say it. It's not set and forget. I know it's an old hack term, but you have to look at all the multiple channels that we have the opportunity to distribute the content to, and connect them to connect with the customer wherever they are. But again, coming back to that quantity, or the quantity debate, April, I've told dealers straight out of the box, look, after doing the analysis, the traffic that we're seeing is quite honestly garbage, and we'll call it out. Sure, your organic traffic may have been stair-stepping up quarter after quarter after quarter, but at what expense? A hefty expense of just doing futile exercises of creating content for the sake of creating content. We've been talking about this for years now, and that crap content, I'm sorry to say it, but that's what it is. And just because you're getting more content created and driving traffic from halfway across the country or the other side of the country, that's leaving your site in 5 seconds, or not looking at any other pages, and certainly not contributing to any conversion activity, what's that worth?
Let me ask you a question.
Sorry,
quality. When we talk about quality traffic, I view quality traffic as traffic that closes and actually makes deals. I mean, Jerry Maguire, show me the money.
Show me the money, baby.
There are so many worthless lead providers out there. They want to talk about attribution and all these bullshit terms they've come up with. Show me the money. Sean, tell me about the money.
It's really simple. If we're working with April, she deserves an ROI, and she deserves an ROI that she can touch, feel, and do enough debate or argue on. If she can't feel the showroom traffic, if she can't feel the phones ringing, if she can't see deals being done because of—
Wait a second, line 32 on the financial statement. That's all I care about, okay?
Exactly right. Yep. And that's what she should care about. And she shouldn't have to split hairs to see it. She should say, Sean, you turned your campaigns on Thursday. I should feel it Thursday afternoon. I made changes Friday afternoon. I can feel it all weekend long. And it should be tagged properly. It should be quality. Look, no one's asking for more traffic. They're asking for higher quality traffic. Good salespeople, they don't like to work all the leads, they like to work the leads that close, right? That's life. People don't like to hear it, but good. The things are changing quickly. What I mean by that, good merchandising. The OEMs are coming back to life. Inventories come back to life. The customers are awake again. Yes, we have some challenges with floor planning and a little inventory and interest rates, but you know what? It's a car business. We will overcome. We will survive, and we will become stronger with good leadership and good partners.
What's the next question, April?
Oh, see, now you have me for— you're talking about, attribution and higher quality. How do dealers actually sift through the BS to find it? Because I'm going to tell you, there's something that's been real interesting as you start to look at lead counts and people want to justify their existence. And I see so much duplication that it is absolutely out of control, and not just duplication from a sense of a person, but also duplication in sense of a car. So if I have one niche, used Corvette, for instance, and I get 300 leads on that one car, can I sell that car 300 times? No, I can't. So that's one of the things that when I'm diving into, lead counts and what's working, what's not working, I think it's something we really have to dive into. Some of these companies that are feeding us, oh, we're giving you so much, and really reality is not there.
Jim, we're blessed to work with April, and she's an awesome rock star. And I'm just going to say it. We're a better company because April is a client. She demands excellence. We have multiple levels of support.
Oh, you're not gonna fool April.
No, you're not. But I will tell you, in April, you can call me out. do we provide you excellent support and high quality meetings?
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
would say,
They listen, and that's one of the big things with vendor partners that has to start happening. And I will give Sean and his team a lot of credit for taking criticism, taking feedback, but not just saying, "Oh, thanks for we hear you, have a nice day," but actually then putting action into place to rectify anything that you feel. That's a true partner. That's somebody who didn't just listen. They heard you. And there's nothing more important than being heard in order to be able to move forward. And that's something that they do very well. And the part of that kind of comes full circle for me with, Sean and his team. You have to start putting higher quality, actual vendor partner people on calls with the dealerships. Please, for the love of all things good, get rid of PowerPoints. If it can be an email, if your strategy call could have been done via email, then you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. A strategy call should be about strategy. What's working, what's not. You're the expert. If you're the expert and you're bringing something to the table, be the expert and actually help the dealer understand what they can do better. That's something that I put out to everyone, but Dealer Teamwork's doing it right, and I appreciate their partnership for that reason.
Eric, tell me about precision spending.
You know what? I'm going to defer that to Sean. Sean talked about precision spending, basically because it was born out of some of his original concepts. So I don't want to steal his thunder.
so
Okay, well,
instead
Sean,
of having one
tell me
big-
about precision spending.
Instead of having one big campaign, we do micro campaigns. So instead of set and forget every single day, our precision spending tool breaks your budgets down into micro campaigns based on strategy, a new car strategy, a used car strategy, a CPO, fixed ops, adoption, awareness. You can optimize it towards things like showroom visits, phone calls, and then it's updating multiple times a day. Because one of the biggest mistakes agencies do is they start spending slow and ramp up at the end. All that does is make money for Google. What I do for April's budgets is I define them into micro campaigns. What do you want to spend on this make, this model? Let's use the Corvette example. If she had one Corvette, I wouldn't let her spend money on it. It's going to sell itself, right? April will say, these are the bread and butter cars. These are the stair steps. This is what I need to hit. And it's our job to come back with a strategy that's updated multiple times a day to give the best results possible. The biggest mistake is you hand a dealer $30,000 and you don't ask them, what are you doing with my money? What's the ROI? How many times are you updating it? And what have you done for me lately? Right? Precision spending is an AI-driven tool that makes sure we spend the money the most effective and efficient way possible to drive the results our clients demand.
Wow.
It's the ultimate accountability and oversight tool.
Okay, accountability, oversight. Say I've got a Ford dealership.
Okay.
Right now, Ford Motor Company, half the dealer's inventory is on stop sale.
Yep.
They couldn't sell that. They couldn't sell it if traffic came in. Are you guys addressing that?
Yeah, we wouldn't market the cars they can't sell. So we'd say, just like this, April, let's look at your inventory. Let's look at them in segments based on make, model, trim, mileage, et cetera, and say on these new ones, this is where we're going to put our money. Does that work for you? Yes. This car is going to sell itself. If you can't sell it, why should we market it at this time? Now, you can do in transit, you can do, prepare for other sales, et cetera. But at the end of the day, digital marketing is instant. So if we are promoting vehicles that people can't buy, that's frustrating for the customers.
Okay, Jeff White said kill shots. I don't know what exactly he means by that.
I think he's talking about promote the vehicles that I can actually make money on. At the end of the day, I used to have a saying at my stores, marketing was spend your profits, right? People got to be aware of where you're spending money. You got to hold both the dealer community and the vendor community accountable for your money. You should be looking at somewhere between 5 and 20 times your ROI for every dollar spent in digital marketing. And if you're not getting it, that's not
5 to 20 times. Come on. What are you smoking?
So let's walk through some numbers. So let's say you gave me $5,000 in digital marketing. You shouldn't be able to see 25,000+ back in ROI all day long. All day long.
No vendors doing that.
Jim, we see cost per lead, cost per call, cost per click, right? We look to see what these things mean. How many leads does April need to get a test drive? How many test drives?
You're breaking down those analytics
every day on every campaign. That's precision spending.
But you know,
can I ask a question, Sean?
Yes.
How do you do precision spending on fixed ops?
It's usually based on the number of appointments, either the number of appointments or new customers that have not been in your service department before. Because let's be honest, April, if I went to your store and service, I get a great experience, I'm coming back. Fair?
Fair.
What you're looking for is people that are moving into your market, pump in, pump out reports, people that have never been there, the person that bought a used car and have never experienced your awesome service department. Those are the types of things you say, Sean, that's justifiable. If it's not adding value to the bottom line, it's a waste of money.
Agreed. And that's just something I bring that up because a lot of times when we have these conversations, we forget about that side of the house, and we all still spend a lot of marketing dollars in the fixed op side. And almost every vendor partner on the fixed op side tries to take attribution for every single RO that comes to the store. Like, it's a joke. It's one of the things that I just laugh about when I look at attribution for fixed ops, because a customer that already had an appointment set, just because you sent them a marketing piece does not mean you get credit for it. So I appreciate what you're saying with precision spending. What you're doing is you're actually saying, let's find the customers that you don't already have. Let's take credit for what we actually helped drive to the store that wasn't already coming.
And let's be honest, some of it, you send a marketing message out, they see it, you don't get credit for all of it. Like Pete Smith, how do you attribute this? Pete, it's not a perfect science. What we look is data, traffic, and car sales. How did that person find out about that car? If they're an existing customer and they can quote a payment, maybe you can talk about it. But if they're brand new or they, bought from a Chevy store across the lot, now they're buying, a Mazda from April, that marketing influenced that. And we're looking at ROIs, right? We're looking at basically return. We're looking at single line ROs moving to multiple line ROs on products being promoted. And we're looking at new and used vehicles that are being heavily promoted in your market and seeing if they've interacted with an ad. And if they have, we could say it helped influence.
Sean, one of my favorite dealers in the world, one of the most, Matt Kellogg. He's on the screen right now. He said he had his lowest cost per lead ever with dealer teamwork just last month, a record month, and he attributes a lot of it to you.
Matt Kellogg is one of the nicest, smartest dealers I've ever worked with in my life. Just like April, when he joined the dealer teamwork family, our products became better almost overnight. And what I got to do is I got to let Eric take this one. Matt is an SEO, LSEO wizard. And he was putting an environment. He doesn't even have a store. He's selling like some of the top number of volume Hondas and Hyundais out of like trailers and stuff. Eric, explain what you've done with SEO with Matt and how he's changed our whole company.
Yeah, Matt's been such a joy to work with. And we talk about an engaged client. Just fantastic. So kudos to you, Matt. But we've taken it to another level just in terms of the attention to the details, Jim. And what I mean by that is making sure that we understand the location targeting, the content, the demographics even, and just, a multitude of factors like that go into supporting not only his brand message, but his acquisition goals. And that's, that like we said, that's contributing to the overall impact. And that's enabling him to be able to hit these record numbers. And then the last part of it, Jim, is also our ability to truly calculate out the ROI. Again, it's not 100% science, but when you start looking at things that are truly measurable, metrics such as your closing rate, your walk-in traffic, your showroom traffic, your front end, back end grosses, you start putting that all into play, with regards to the output of the actual paid search campaigns. We have a methodology that we're able to back into a very logical ROI number. And as we like to say, I'm going to put $1 into that slot machine, pull the handle, I'm going to get $17 out. I'm going to keep pulling that handle all day long.
Hey! Yesterday, I do scratch offs. I can't walk past a lottery machine without buying a $20 scratch off. I hit a $500 one yesterday.
Nice.
You just triggered me there.
I assume $10 is going to the government, right, Jim?
Anyway, yeah, I am so far ahead on scratch offs. It's unbelievable. And Eric said, you put $1 in, you get 17 back. That is dealer teamwork.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when it comes to attribution has always been kind of one of those dirty words, that we use to try to justify things. Matt said it perfectly. When you actually see it in the dealership, you know it. You know when you made a massive change to your marketing. Some of the smaller things, maybe not so much. You really have to dig into those things. But I look at it like this. There's some stuff that you can dig and deal and peel and go down these long rabbit holes to try to figure out attribution. But at the end of the day, if you know for a fact that this drove
attribution
3 times, it doesn't really matter. If I say, okay, if Sean says it's 5 times to 15 times and 5 is my low, and I can easily prove that, even if I say at 20% of that 5 times,
you're in the money.
You're in the money. And there's rarely times that you have more than 5 vendors that are sending you the same customer.
Every loser in the industry wants to talk about attribution. Attribution is bogus. Excuse me.
It is because Jim, the problem is most dealers don't do their own attribution. They listen to the vendor tell them what their attribution is, and that in and of itself is the biggest mistake every vendor makes. If I told you how many logins I have for dashboards outside of PowerPoints, about the only other dirty word to me is, here, let me give you access to my dashboard. I hate dashboards. If they could all go away tomorrow, I would be a happy camper, because I've got 95 logins to all these stupid dashboards for what reason?
April. I walk in a dealership and the desk manager's got 3 screens with 3 different vendors and 3 different dashboards. All the vendors want to talk about attribution. Excuse me. I don't want to hear. There's 2 words I don't like: attribution and partner. I've let you guys say partner all day long. When a vendor starts saying we're your partner, I kick that son of a bitch right out of the showroom. I'm sorry. You're not
April,
my partner.
April, you want to know? Here's a funny story for you in terms of attribution. I like to tell my wife that it was the last donut that made me fat, but she set me straight and she told me no, it was the previous 12 that you had.
Attribution.
But that's why you can't listen to every single person. Every single partner is going to tell you that they're the reason for, this particular sale. And the interesting part is, while GA4 is a nightmare today, as we all know, on this call, and most of
GA4, yeah.
it's a train wreck and a half. The good news is that on the other side of this, I see a lot of clarity coming. I actually see a lot of capability that my hope is that all vendor partners or non-partners will look to that versus dashboards, making it a even Steven across the board. Have us all looking at the same thing. Have the vendor partners like yourselves, which are doing a great job. Dealer Teamwork is one of the ones doing a great job of helping actually work together and look at it through that lens. And if we all are looking at it together through that lens, then I think we will be a better industry as a whole versus trying to say, play the shell game, right? Like, let's get past this BS shell game of like, well, here, watch the ball. Here's my little report over here. Okay, now let's look at my dashboard over here and say, no, let's force everybody to look at the same metrics through the same lens so that everyone is held to the same standard. And that is really my hope as we go forward.
And
I get a lot of talk about MPOP. I'm going to talk about MPOP. When you guys talk about MPOP, I think, well, what is that? Is that a 1990s song by Hanson? MPOP. Okay. Tell me about MPOP, Eric.
Well, it started off, Jim, more as a marketing play when we first started the company. And it stands for Merchandising Personalization and Optimization Platform. a lot of fancy words, but in the simplest way,
Say it again.
merchandising, personalization, optimization, platform.
Okay, MPOP.
And all it is a really, really fancy way, marketing speak, of just saying, we're going to take your inventory feed, we're going to put it into our system, and we're going to normalize it and spit it out so we can get penny perfect specials and leases and payments on your used cars, your new cars, your CPO, and even your service offering. So it's a very, very simple concept when you break it down like that. Take your feed, put it in the system, spit out your marketing. That's why we like to call it COPE, create once, publish everywhere. Everything comes in one spot, goes out everywhere.
Customized personal offers the way you want, customized disclosures, dynamic landing pages on the dealer's website, because we like to use SEO, SEM, social media. We like to use data enhancement. We like to use first-party data all together. We call that all put together total search. So everyone's talking about SEO, SEM, social media, email blasts, etc. Why don't we call it total search? Put it all together, let it work together. And ultimately, that'll help cost average things. But if I can drive 10% new traffic via SEO, that's fantastic. That's less money you have to spend than on paid search. If I can get 10% of your leads via social media, that's 10% less money you spend somewhere else. Put it all together, because not everyone searches the same way. Make it easy for your products and services to be found. That's the basic key.
I want to give a quick shout out to the MPOP, because I'm a big fan of the MPOP. And one massive unintended advantage, because we talk about unintended consequences, but sometimes there's unintended advantages. When I first signed up for the MPOP, the idea was the SEO marketing part, right? And we're talking a lot about marketing, drive business, get business to the website. When you drive all this business to the website, what is actually the most important thing to happen once somebody hits your website?
Conversion.
Is that they convert, right? Conversion is the biggest thing. I can drive traffic all day long to my website, but if it doesn't convert, what use is it? It is of no use. It's like putting out the billboard sign and watching people drive past your dealership. Is that an opportunity? Well, heck no, because they have to at least get out of their car. They got to pull onto the lot, get out of their car, shake my hand. Now I have an opportunity. So the website works the same way. It's not an opportunity until they convert. The MPOP has been one of the best platforms I've seen, and I've looked at a ton, that really genuinely helps you convert your traffic once it lands, because it is clean. It gives them all the options in one space. You can search it out by it's almost like a fancy SRP landing page, right? Yeah. So you've got the opportunity to have your lease payment, your purchase payment, everything kind of build into these mini SRP VDP pages that just takes things to another level. So kudos to the MPOP on an unintended advantage that I don't know that they thought of when they first built it. I think it really was driven by SEO, but it's also become a massive, awesome way to convert traffic.
You know, April, when I asked you to be a co-host on today's broadcast, I had no idea you were a client of Dealer Teamwork.
Yeah, they're two of my favorite people, and I don't do as much business with them as I would like, because genuinely we have, politics and OEMs and a lot of other fun things that we have to deal with. But even if I did zero business with these two humans, they will always be in my life. I just think the world of Sean and Eric as I do you, Jim. I think they're just great humans, and so I was always have conversations with them. I love to pick their brains. They're smart people, and I love having them around me.
Well, when I say you're one of the most brilliant women in automotive, you're running, how many dealerships do you have?
We're up to 15 now. So
15 dealerships, Phoenix, Arizona, and surrounds.
Yeah, Arizona. We'll just call it Arizona.
Arizona, okay.
We go very north, we go very south, and then we have our metro stores.
Fantastic. You got all these dealerships, and you're on top of everything. I consider you one of the most brilliant women in automotive. And John Roberts on the sidebar. Do you know this man, Sean?
I do. He's another fantastic human. What makes John different than most, he's very active in his store. He's hands-on, and he goes through the numbers all the time. He asks lots of good questions. He's always like this, Sean, I want to increase my market share. I want to sell more new cars at a higher profit. Show us how it works and show me the data that supports it.
Student of the game. Another person that I have a lot of respect for, Jamie Drapchick.
Minnesota gal. Woohoo!
You know Jamie?
Oh yeah. We go way back. She's great. She's ran everything. Many stores, GMs. Now she's VP. She does a great job. And another person that's just a student of the game.
Oh, absolutely. We got a pretty astute audience out there today. A lot of good people in the audience, and a lot of your clients. One thing about dealer teamwork, I've known you guys forever. I mean, Sean, you and I go back to the early 90s. Eric and I go back about the same. I met both of you about the same time. And
my hair was dark and Eric had hair.
I remember Eric had hair. That was a lot of changes in those days, but I've known you guys forever and ever and ever, and all your clients love the company. I mean,
we have a culture of caring. Our people are paid on our dealers' performance. If in the bottom scrolling is my own cell phone, I truly care. Jim, I don't have all the answers. What I do is I've got a great network of humans that can ask a lot of questions. We make a lot of mistakes, but we're ethically and honestly and morally correct. And at the end of the day, I think that's what people really care. I truly care about our customers, our people, our employees. My buddy Eric's the same way. I love the guy. Most of our customers are friends first, customers second. And the crazy thing is most of them have been clients for 2 or 3 other companies before.
Now, John Roberts says that I introduced you to dealer teamwork, Sean Stapleton at Internet Battle Plan when I was doing the Internet Battle Plan conferences.
I wish you brought those back, Jim. Those are awesome.
Yeah, those were.
Well, you got to talk Miss Debbie into that. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Miss Debbie said no more Internet Battle Plans. We did 25 of them. I love the internet. I do it today. I would have an Internet Battle Plan today if Miss Debbie.
Dealer team could be the first person to sign on the dotted line. We'd support you in a heartbeat, just like your F&I seminar you have coming up. Jim,
I've got a sales manager. I've already done
sales manager. You taught me desking. Jim Ziegler taught me desking. This is old. Ready, April? You might even know these things called CDs before DVDs. I still have it in my office. A picture of Jim. He had his net worth. He had my whole net worth on his left hand from the waist, wrist up, right? He had hair. He was an intimidating guy, but he taught me desking like nobody else. And to this day, I still train on the barbell. If you could, would you? And you move the line. I loved it, Jim. You had a huge influence on my life.
Oh, golly. Look at this. Jamie Drapchick says, Sean was actually one of the catalysts of my love of data 20 plus years ago. Oh my God. Sean, you sponsored my Internet Battle Plan early on when it was you, me, and Larry Bruce and Ralph Paglia.
Yep.
Remember that?
I loved it from the day I met you. Jim, you were legit. You were honest. You were straightforward. You were hard hitting. You didn't take any bullshit. Excuse my French, BS, right? You were just there. And you would challenge people if they brought dumb ideas, and you'd also support them to find new ideas. And that, I think our industry needs more of it, particularly coming out of COVID. We can't all be the same. We're going to try things that's not always going to work, but go find a vendor that's going to be morally and ethically, right-sided.
That's the key, morally and ethically. Let me tell you something. This broadcast is about dealer teamwork. The title is Teamwork Makes the Dream Work. Well, let me tell you something. There's a lot of vendors out there that are total frauds.
Yep.
I mean, lead provider is a dead category. I'm telling you right now, lead providers, they don't work. They did work at one time. But your lead providers, and I'm sorry, I'm talking about cars.com. I'm talking about Auto Trader. I'm talking about Car Gurus. We know who I'm talking about. That model is obsolete, sinking down in the tar pits, eating the last brown shriveled leaves off the trees. Excuse me. The lead provider model, and they're transforming. They're getting other categories that they're now diving into, and frankly, they have no expertise where they're going. But that's their own problem. But right now, dealer teamwork still makes customers buy your product. That's all I care about. Show me the money.
Nope. And Eric, you can't buy it if you can't find it. And between Google vehicle ads, good SEO, great merchandising, paid search, social media, using your data, you can do it. Every dealer in America can generate their own leads if they start the process early and pay attention. Find a good partner, look at the analytics, make sure everyone understands what the goals are, and it should be high quality leads that buy cars, buy services, buy F&I products, and promote your name to other people's in their circle.
Okay, so anyway, this show is all about our opinions. I mean, you might disagree with us. I respect your right to be wrong. April, what other subjects do we need to talk about here?
Well, we have some really brilliant people who are going out and trying new things. I mean, one thing that I like about talking with both Eric and Sean is that they are always trying to find what's the next thing. They're trying to stay ahead of the curve. So my next question to both of you is, what do you see as being the next thing? What are you working on currently to try to be ahead of the curve as we roll into this next, phase of things like AI and, ChatGPT and all these new, CDPs and all these acronym buzzwords that are out there? What do you guys think of all the stuff that's out there, and what are you working on, and what are you saying, hey, I just think this is just a buzzword that's going to go away in the next 12 months?
I think a great question, April. I think the first thing that comes to my mind, where my focus is on, when I'm busy at work, is just focusing in on the SGE, the search generative experience. Everybody's been playing around with it. Hopefully you've seen it. When you do a Google search, it gives you an AI generated type of response. And if you notice what's already changed, even in the last, say 30 days, originally when that first was released, it was just AI generated text. Now they're starting to throw in some organic links within that. The next phase, I believe, that'll happen is we'll probably start to see some type of paid ad unit that we've never seen before. And because Google's not going to just start creating generated content like that for the sake of just creating organic traffic. They need to slowly feed us and slowly change our experience so we're not, everybody doesn't get shell shocked with the change once it happens. So they've got to feed it into us. But eventually there will be some new paid ad units because that's how Google's going to try to take advantage, obviously, of their ad model. So big changes coming with that. And again, all that's going to do in terms of the marketing focus is make everybody take pause, step back, and truly take a look at your content. Is it actually helpful? I've said this a million times. One of Google's last updates was literally called the Google Helpful Content Update. So if they're naming the update that, you should probably take notice and pay attention to your own content on your own site. Is it actually helpful?
Well, and that goes back to the garbage traffic that we're talking about. There's these phases of things that we go through, right? So you have garbage leads, which I think, Jamie, based on a couple of her comments, I'm going to say we're in agreement on that. You have your garbage leads. Well, now we're starting to have some garbage traffic. Well, garbage traffic is actually going to be not only just a net zero, so to speak, but will actually become a negative aspect because as Google moves forward, you're going to actually have this thing called negative SEO where they're going to start really punishing you for, hey, great, good job, you got them to your site, but they didn't do anything. They didn't convert. They didn't stay on the
Wait
site.
a minute. Explain that. Go deeper, April. Negative SEO. Tell me about that.
So negative SEO is the idea that Google, so when we build SEO, the purpose of SEO, right, is to get the people to your site. Yep. Well, Google's starting to realize that, there's a lot of smart people out there trying to game the system. And so if in a sense that once they get get to the site, they don't actually do the things that Google expects them to do based upon
junk traffic.
Right. Okay. You're the best to answer the question. Now Google is starting to say, well, wait a minute. You had this many people leave too quickly, not do anything. That says to Google that you actually are not now the expert in that space, and they will actually punish you for having, it used to be just duplicate content and things like that. But what I'm starting to see and hear from other people is this idea of you can actually have negative SEO by, on the long term, it becomes much harder to get people to your door because you're actually starting in a hole in Google's eyes.
Like social media, for heaven's sake. Social media. I love people from China. I love people from India. I love people from all these other countries, but they can't help me. I don't need them in my social media contacts. I mean, the same thing with junk SEO. People who are not in the market, people that signed a contest to win a free Corvette, they are not in the market right now, but they're being served up as real SEO. Sean, jump on that.
Well, you can't really cheat it. To your point, April, whether it's quality score or whatever algorithm Google's looking at, Google wants to understand, what do people do when they click on the ad? And if they aren't converting the way that the dealers want, it's going to affect their revenue stream. It's going to affect dealers. At the end of the day, dealers advertise for one reason: to sell cars, set service appointments, and sell F&I products.
Show me the money.
Yeah, show me the money. It's not that hard. So at the end of the day, if you are putting ads out that are not converting, it's a waste of time. Not every ad works, but you can optimize campaigns for certain behaviors. If those behaviors aren't happening, you got to figure out why it's not. It's very simple. I want to jump on one more thing. You said, what's changing in the industry? The support levels. Because it's time to get back to supporting our dealer friends. That means hiring people that are experienced. That means paying them a great living, not an average living. That means not giving somebody 50, 60, 70, or in other cases, 100 accounts to manage. Look, at Dealer Teamwork, we're somewhere between 20 and 32 accounts per account manager. Anything more than that, I don't believe they can honestly do their job. That's expensive. But guess what? You know what's expensive? Bad marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. April, jump on that again.
Okay, so you just hit like pain point number one for me, and Sean knows this. We've talked about this before, but I will tell you that support, it is an epidemic of the mass proportions I've ever seen. I've never seen such bad support across the board, and it doesn't matter who we're talking about. Whether you've been to a restaurant in the last year, you've had to call any support line anywhere, you've gone to the grocery store, customer service has just become
non-existent.
Painful. I mean, it's more than non-existent. It's actually painful because it's the opposite. It's not even like, hey, I'm here to help you. It's like, get out of my way. Why are you calling me for? Like, just a bad attitude. And so and Jim, you and I have had this conversation and battle before on calling people partners, and I've become very frustrated, and I've actually dropped that from almost everyone. I'm like, you're right, Jim.
They're not partners. I'm sorry.
Everybody sucks. But there are some that I will still put in the partner category. And in order
you can do that. I don't see even my friends are. You're not my partner. Vendors, you're not my partner. We pay you.
That's true, but a partnership does happen when.
Vendors aren't your partner.
I know you're gonna let me go here. There's a small percentage in the cases. Are you providing customer service to your dealers in the same way that you tell the dealers that they're supposed to be providing to the end customer? Like, I am so entirely frustrated about hearing vendors go out on, I don't care if it's a podcast, I don't care if it's social media, I don't care if it's an article, and yelling about how dealers need to be better and they need to treat customers better and they need to do all these things for the customers, yet they themselves provide such a crappy customer experience to their dealers. If you want the dealers to be better, then you need to wake up and be better. And that's something I'm going to keep yelling at vendors. Dealers, what Sean just said is exactly what I'm talking about. They do it right. They genuinely take the feedback. And one thing I will tell dealers is if you're not having a great experience with your, performance manager or the person that's supposed to be strategizing with you, speak up.
Yes.
Speak up. Because just like getting a bad salesperson, it may not be a company situation. It may just be a situation with one particular individual. So it needs to be something that we all need to be working toward. But Sean, I appreciate that. There's nothing that makes me more mad than getting on a performance call with somebody who's paid, probably minimum wage, who doesn't even know what the acronyms stand for. How are they going to actually be a partner and strategize with me if they don't even know what I'm talking about? You have to align. Those people need to be as smart as anyone in your company so that when they're strategizing, they're actually providing value to the client. If there's no value there, then send me an email and just leave me alone.
Yeah. Don't just read the numbers.
April, when we first started the company, I asked Sean a bunch of questions about what he had learned, obviously, from his previous successes. And the first comment out of his mouth, no lie, was, we have to focus on customer service.
Yep.
This is before we even had a solid product. This is before we had, probably more than 24 customers. And that's always, I've never forgotten that statement. And that was so early on. And I asked him why, and he just, he shared just a treasure trove of knowledge and experience from his VIN days, just in terms of, keeping the eye on the prize, from a service standpoint. And it's always just been baked into our DNA, in my opinion.
It's our reputation. At the end of the day, April is a friend, and she needs to be supported as a true friend and a customer. And if we stand out on just support and people that care, and they know we have your back, we're already winning. And then we can put great results on top of it. But you don't always get great results. Sometimes things go haywire. But April knows I care. Look at my cell phone number scrolling across the bottom. How many CEOs give out their personal cell phone? I do it because if you have a problem, I want to fix it as fast as I can.
I love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, you guys are so personal, and I know 30 of your clients. That's the thing. I don't know a client that's pissed off at you. I named some vendors earlier. I can show you some clients that are pissed off at them. I don't know anybody that's pissed off at you guys. You guys have an excellent reputation. You're selling cars. You're maximizing the customer's budget. What multiple did you say earlier, Sean?
I'm hoping to try to get every time 5 to 20 plus times. Right? Does it always happen? No. But that's the goal. And people can criticize me and say you might not be able to get that. But that's our goal. Again, I said something earlier that makes us different. Every one of our support people are paid on the performance of what their clients do. Every quarter we meet with our teammates. Right now, the big thing is making sure that all of our employees are GA4 certified. We had every account that we have up.
Slow down. How many employees do you have?
About 70.
70. And they're all GA4 certified?
By the end of this week, yeah, we're already about 3/4 of the way done with certifications.
70 people.
There will be. Yeah, we're probably, Eric, what would you say, 3/4 already done?
Easily.
Yeah, easily. And keep looking, because each time they do it, we post it. We say we're closer and closer. Every customer-facing client support person we have is Google certified, knows Facebook, knows analytics. Before we hire people, we give them a test. They log into a dealer account that we have as fake. They look at the data and tell us what they would do. So we can't afford to hire rookies at this. Rookies start in different jobs to get experience and they move up. The reason is you can't afford to make mistakes. The margins are thinner than they've been in a long time again, and dealers are counting on us to be there for them. Tell them what's working, but the
market has normalized, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, the market has normalized. I look at TV and I see Linda Beaver and the bow tie guy advertising discounts and low interest rates and trunk money's out there. I mean, come on. You got more inventory than you can sell. I mean, I see dealers turning down inventory. Excuse me. And stop sale. All these people have got stop sale everywhere. You can't sell the units you've got because of safety stop sale. So you've got to sell what you've got. Dealer teamwork can do that. And other vendors are not talking about the subjects we're talking about today. They don't want to talk about it because they don't service what they're talking about.
There are a lot of great vendors out there. There's a lot of great people out there, right? And if you're running a dealership,
very few in the realm that we're servicing right now.
I agree, and I'm proud of that. And I might be a little biased, but I got a lot of really good friends and family that made a living in the car business. And I'm not here to tear anybody down. I want to lift the industry up. There's an opportunity right now to take the high road. I want to get as much market share as we can afford to support and do it right. And guess what? Not every dealer is a good customer of ours. And we're probably not a great partner for everybody. We're here to move the needle, and we're here to be aggressive. And some people just kind of want to stay status quo. I think status quo is slowly losing and dying.
Yeah, Jim, a really disappointing perspective from my perspective, rather. What's happening right now, it's causing other vendors and other agencies and other consultants to resort to, let's just call it crap tactics, and it's Bush League tactics, in my opinion. Sean and I never play that game. We let the performance and the reputation and the relationship speak volumes. But I'll give you a real world example, okay? Yesterday, we were asked to review somebody's account. They gave us access to their analytics and told us to make heads or tails of it. And we were straight with them. We just told them, hey, unfortunately, we can't even do that. The analogy I gave them was like if you went to the doctor and the doctor was blind and he couldn't even read your charts. How's he gonna understand anything about your medical history? Well, in this case, unfortunately, the poor dealer's GA4, it was incorrectly set up. There was something in there that just wasn't clicking, and it wasn't giving consistent and accurate data. So there was no way
you could read that right away, right? Correct.
Oh, instant.
2 seconds. It was like, whoa. No phone calls in 30 days. Time on site 3 seconds or less for 90% of their traffic. That's a problem.
Say that again, Sean. Say that again.
So instantly we saw there were no phone calls being tracked. Right. The goals weren't set up. Time on site from paid traffic source, 3 seconds or less. Something's broken.
Their paid search was the people were on the site less than 3 seconds.
Correct.
Click on, click off.
Yeah, well, or the tracking was off, or something was broken, or something. They weren't giving us the data to understand what's working or not.
So
but it got worse.
The vendor was holding the data hostage.
So, something we're not exactly sure still. The data wasn't there for us to do an analysis, right? It was like I go to the doctor, I couldn't find your heartbeat. I'm like,
I'm going to get back to Eric, but let me ask you about the data. You guys, will you analyze the dealer's effectiveness, their data, free?
Yeah, no charge, whether they're a customer or not.
No charge. If
they
call the number on the screen, they call your cell phone. They call your cell phone. It's on the screen. They call your cell phone. You will give them a complete marketing analysis of the effectiveness of the data. Is that?
Yes.
And here's the caveat, Jim. Everybody in the industry will say that they'll do a review, an audit, an analysis, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to add an asterisk to that. Yes, we'll do it, but we need to play together. That's why we call it teamwork. We have to work together within a set boundaries. You're going to have to let us take a look at the analytics. Give us access to your Google Search Console, your GBP, your GA4. Give us access. Show us your CRM report.
Yeah. Pump in, pump out reports.
Yeah, show us everything. Let's work together to try to make sure that we can understand everything that's going on. Because all we're going to do, if I just take a look at your website, all I'm going to come back with is just tell you got a crap website. That's it. I'm not going to be able to get a good holistic view of what's going on and be able to give you anything that's worth its weight in terms of the recommendations that you actually deserve.
The difference is we're going to give you the why behind what we found. Why do you think that's bad? Why do you think that's not working? Why do you think you could do better? Or why do you think my current provider is doing such a great job? Because it's the why behind it. Anybody can just read data. It's interpreting the data to performance standards that equal selling more cars.
And Jim, one more note on that analysis that we did. The most disheartening part of the review was when the dealer told us, well, our other vendor told us that you guys are not a Google certified or a Google Premier partner. Which is it's not true. Obviously, we have been for 8 years, for 7 years. But here's the thing: why are vendors needing to take a cheap shot like that when with such an item that is so easily verifiable? Just go to your vendor's website and look for the square logo that says Google Premier Partner. It should be linked to their partner profile page in Google. So it just, again, very disheartening. It's unfortunate to have to see people to resort to those types of tactics.
No, you guys
It
are
happens all the
absolutely.
time, Eric. All the time it happens, and it's really, it goes back to what I was saying before. Vendors need to take a look in the mirror. If you're going to sit there and tell dealers that we need to be, they need to be better and they need to provide better customer experience for the customer. Who is your customer ultimately, right? And those same type of tactics that you would berate a dealer for doing, talking bad about another dealership rather than selling your own advantages and your own positives, you have vendors out there doing, and it's sad to see, but it happens a lot. And it's, I will tell you, as somebody who, goes through a lot of vetting and goes through, a lot of pitches and stuff like that, that instantly is a shutdown for me. The second you say anything negative about another company, you have literally lost the ability for me to hear you anymore, period. Because your job is to sell me why you, not why not somebody else. Right? In the same sense that I will not accept that from my salespeople. My salespeople aren't allowed to talk down about other dealerships. They're to talk up about ours. It goes for the same thing for vendors. So I really appreciate that you guys do that. And I think that is very, very valuable. And I just want to make note of that.
I appreciate that.
Sean, we're getting down to the last couple minutes. Give me a wrap-up speech.
All right. At the end of the day, let's just be honest. Marketing is not set and forget. If you're not hearing from your vendors regularly, if they're not bringing positive, proactive ideas, if they're not willing to share their mistakes, I question their true motive. Because I have to make calls. I will call April and say, hey, we made that change on Monday. I'm not seeing the results I hoped. Your cost per lead is too high, or you're not getting the traffic. We need to make a change.
So you're continually monitoring the results.
Yeah, we monitor our results.
What vendor does that? Dealers watching this broadcast, general managers watching this broadcast, BDC managers watching this broadcast. Which one of your vendors is calling and saying, hey, we want to adjust our results? Which vendor called you recently and said that?
Which vendors, all their support people by first name, that you have the cell phone of the executives and founders that encourage you to call and give us a hard time if we're not doing right. Right? I mean, that's the end of the day. I learn as much from our clients every day as I hope I teach them.
Fantastic. Eric, last couple minutes, what do we need to tell people that we haven't told them so far?
Just repeating the main theme of what I believe of today's show is all about. It's one platform, multiple channels, quality over quantity, and just rely on and trust the MPOP to help drive higher quality leads at lower costs. It's as simple as that.
Total search. Put it all together.
One thing about this is we're talking right now. We've got a pretty big audience today. Surprised me. Big audience. This is our opinions. We present as opinions. If you disagree with us, put it on the sidebar and we'll address it. This show is wide open. If you disagree with us, we'll entertain that.
I don't think most people realize the quality of people. Again, April's one of my favorite people, but April, look at her numbers, look at her results. She's one of the best in the business. Look at Jamie. Look at other people that have been on here. Look at all the way down to even this Peter Smith, look at Matt
John.
Kellogg, look at, John. I mean, you have some unbelievable performers that give and speak their own opinion, and they're in the store every day pushing metal. You can't get better than that.
Exactly.
Jim, we know we're not 100% right. I'll be the first person to say, yeah, you know what? I screwed up, but we own up to it, and we'll do damn sure everything possible not to do it again. But I could go through our own solution right now and find 10 items that I'd love to improve even more. But that's what drives Sean and myself and the rest of the company. That's our culture. We want to do something right, but we want to do something that actually works for the dealers. I used to be a dealer. I saw all the stuff that didn't work, and I heard all the crap that the vendors told me as well. And I don't ever want myself or Sean or anybody in our company to ever be forced to be put in a situation that that's similar to that. I want real solutions that actually work.
I want to get my little wrap up real quick with Dealer Teamwork. It's right in their name, and I'm as opinionated as they come, and I think everybody knows that about me. If I like it, I'll tell you. If I hate it, I'll tell you. I'll give you whatever I'm dealing with. But one of the things that I give Dealer Teamwork a lot of credit for, other than all the things we've talked about today that goes a long way with me, is they also are willing to work with other vendors. Yep. And that is something that you just don't see in this business often enough. In order for things to actually work for me, I need all parties involved to work together. And too many times they get boxed down. Dealer Teamwork has gone over and above time and again to try to work through some of the pain points that I have with other vendors that need to work together and coexist. And I really appreciate them always doing that. And Lainey, who I get the opportunity to work with Dealer Teamwork, she is phenomenal. There have been times where, she's got a message on a Saturday, 8:00 at night, something's broke, and she's on it and gets it fixed. You just don't find that level of, for lack of another way of saying it, give a shit. So I appreciate that Dealer Teamwork does genuinely have that, and keep that up, because I think that's the most important thing in all of this, is the working together.
We're running over, but I don't care. Jim Ziegler, this is the Ziegler Zone. I want to thank April Simmons for being a guest host today, co-host. Dealer Teamwork, give the boys a call. Watch the replay. Forward this on. Share this broadcast. Share the replays. Call Sean and Eric right now and get a free marketing analysis of your dealership. No pressure to buy. Everybody wave goodbye to the audience.